John Carroll is best known among technical communicators as the father of minimalism, a title he earned as a result of his popular book, The Nuremberg Funnel. Currently, he is a distinguished professor of information sciences and technology at Penn State, as well as director of Penn State Center for Human-Computer Interaction. He will be speaking at the STC Summit in Columbus, Ohio this June, and will be inducted as an honorary fellow of the Society during the opening session as well. Today, Jack is joining me to discuss his summit talk, Minimalizing Mobile Interactions, as well as his thoughts about receiving this honor from STC. Thanks so much for joining me, Professor Carroll.
Thank you, Nicky.
I know your introduction made it sound like he wrote the Nuremberg Funnel in 1990, something magical happened. Now he is a professor at Penn State, a summit speaker, and STC Honorary Fellow. But a lot of work happened in between. You've written or contributed to 10 other books and over 100 papers on a wide variety of subjects, including usability, collaborative learning, user experience design, knowledge management, human-computer interaction, and cognitive science. So you've been very busy.
I have, but in some ways, it does seem like something magical happened. But maybe it wasn't just one thing, but a series of magical things have happened to me and sort of kept happening down the years. And of course, we're talking about the information design work that went on at the IBM Watson Research Center a very long time ago. How many years ago was that? About 35 years ago. But subsequently, as you mentioned, I've gotten into a lot of other things, and I've always been blessed or magical in that I've always encountered great colleagues and great students, and that's still true. And it has never slowed down, and I don't see it slowing down soon.
Well, right, because this year is no exception. You have a lot of things going on this year.
Yes, yeah. In fact, I would say, in a lot of ways, the last year or two has been another peak for me. I have 8 PhD students, and they're really terrific ones, and 3 postdocs, and they are just outstanding. And we've been really getting a lot of work done, and they keep me racing because there's just one of me, but there's quite a few of them.
Right, and I believe I read that you have 8 papers accepted at the Association for Computing Machinery conferences.
Yes, the 2 of the conferences I've oriented to a lot, well, over the years, but are the ACM Chi conference, Computer Human Interaction, which is what everybody else calls human computer interaction, but for ACM the computer comes first. And then their conference CSCW, which is Computer Supported Cooperative Work. And I think the official title now also incorporates social media, but not the acronym doesn't include it, but the conference has shifted heavily to social media.
So absolutely keeping busy, and it all sounds very exciting. Now, tell me a little bit about your summit talk and how it relates to your current research.
Right. Well, the what I'm going to talk about at the summit is well, just my sort of strategic thinking was to try to connect the minimalist thinking that is kind of my identity in STC, I guess, with mobile platforms and mobile technology, which is one of the focuses of my current work. I mean, not unusually for researchers today in human-computer interaction, I'm fascinated by the ability of people to, in effect, carry their personal computing with them everywhere they go all the time, and opening up horizons for new kinds of applications that, monitor your health and arrange interactions and exchanges with other people, communication 24 by 7, and all these other possibilities that were, I think, to a great extent, not even dreamed of 35 years ago.
Yes, and I think part of the reason that minimalism has had a resurgence is because mobile and minimalism go together, because we're talking about compressed time, compressed space, all sorts of things. So,
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, where I guess we had the option, although it might not have been a great idea, to have very busy, complex interfaces in the certainly in the desktop era with large, high resolution displays. As displays have shrunk, and devices have shrunk, we're forced to be minimalist. We're
yes.
forced to get to the point and focus on what the user wants to do and has to know about.
Right, and there was actually, you and I talked in 2013. We did an interview about minimalism and talked about revisiting it. And you recently revisited minimalism in an article published last year in the International Journal of Design for Learning, titled "Creating Minimalist Instruction." So, as we've just talked about, interest in the subject of minimalism and its origins, as you mentioned earlier, your work at the TJ Watson Lab remains.
Yes, well, that's a nice way to put it. I guess I'm coming to terms with the fact that I'm an older person in the field, and people are asking me to reminisce, and it's funny. Been in the field a long time, and I think early on we sensed that something very important was happening. And you referred to magic earlier, and I think the people who had the opportunity to join the HCI area in the 70s and the early 80s really got a chance to participate in a magical moment. It really was a total change in the design of information and possibilities for human interaction, and transformed human work, all human work, just amazing things. And the thought occurred to me even when I was still relatively young that someday I would be reminiscing about this, and that day has definitely come.
Well, it's not just reminiscing; it's sharing your wisdom about all of it.
Yeah,
And
and I definitely agree with you that it's still relevant, but like the article in the what was the full name of it? The International Journal of Learning,
of design for learning.
Design for Learning. Yeah, which by the way it's an online journal, and really was a wonderful experience to work with those guys. But that was definitely a reminiscence oriented project. So they had gone out and recruited people who had made contributions, 10, 20, 30 years before. And they even have a little timeline of how ideas emerged in that area over the decades. But it's fun to revisit it. And I think, of course, it's not just reminiscing. I think when we look back at the past, we might be in a position to extract meaning that we could never see close up.
Absolutely. And I want to let everyone out there know that article is online, so if they'd like to read that before the summit, they could download it and take a look at it. And speaking of minimalism, your groundbreaking work in minimalism is part of the reason you'll be inducted as an STC Honorary Fellow at the opening session of the summit in Columbus, Ohio, along with Dr. Temple Grandin. And previous honorary fellows include Alan Alda, Tim O'Reilly, Vinton Cerf, and Robert Kahn, Tim Berners-Lee, and Edward Tufte, among many others. And we're thrilled to honor you as one of the luminaries who've achieved eminence in the field of technical communication.
Well, the honor is mine, and I looked at the list of the people who got this award, and it's uh, it's staggering to me to be part of that group.
Well, it's well deserved, Dr. Carroll.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for joining me. And I look forward to your talk in Columbus and also cheering you on as you receive your honor.
Well, it'll be great to see you and many other friends at STC, and I'm looking forward to it too.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye now.